We're going to start off with the quadratic form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Our first question is going to be 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Therefore, a equals 2, b equals 3, and c equals minus 5. So you start off by multiplying a and c, which in this case is 2 and minus 5. Your answer is minus 10. You then have to find two numbers that multiply to give you minus 10, but they add together to give you the coefficient of x in this case, which is 3. 3 is represented by b. So we have 2 and 5. However, we need one of them to be negative. So this will change to minus 2 multiplied by 5 will give you minus 10. We need to also make sure that these two numbers added together will also give us 3. So minus 2 add 5 gives positive 3. These two are correct numbers. I am then going to rewrite the question out again. So I have 2x squared subtract minus 2 plus 5 subtract 5 equals 0. Don't forget that minus 2 plus 5 gives you 3. Therefore, minus 2x plus 5x still represents 3x. You then factorize your equation. So I'm going to start off by factorising the first part of 2x squared minus 2x. Take out 2x, that will leave you with x minus 1. And we're going to take out 5 from the next bracket, which will also leave me with x minus 1. When you're factorising, you are looking for the highest common factor. The reason why we had to separate this equation into two parts is because 2 and 5 do not have the same HCFs, which stands for highest common factors. That's why we have to separate into two different brackets. So you have x minus 1 repeats itself, so you take that bracket and you rewrite it. Then you put together the two numbers outside of your brackets, which is 2x and 5. That will then leave you with one bracket saying x minus 1 and the other bracket saying 2x plus 5. If the question wanted us to factorise, we would have finished. However, it's asking us to solve because it says equals 0. Therefore, you have to take x minus 1 out of the bracket and make it equal to 0, and 2x plus 1 out of the bracket and also make that equal to 0. Then you just rearrange both equations to find your answer for x. If you would like a video on rearranging equations, please leave a comment in the boxes below. The question is now done. Let's try another example. So we are going to have 2x squared minus 7x minus 15 equals 0. It's the same principle. You multiply a and c to give you a number. In this case, a is 2 and c is minus 15. So that'll give you minus 30. You then find two numbers that multiply to give you minus 30, but add together or subtract together to give you negative 7x. In this case, it's 10 and 3. We need to be negative 30, therefore one of them has to be negative because a negative and a positive multiply to give you a negative. So we write it again, making sure that we're able to factorise it to two separate brackets. So it is important where you put your 10 and where you put your 3. Once you factorise, you take one of the brackets that repeats and then you take the outside numbers and put them into another bracket. You then solve to find x and you've completed your question.